And bootstrapping is actually where you earn your stripes. In the Philippines, we're in a golden era of funding. But we went through a really dark time where we had to figure out to survive. It's all about survival, sacrifice, and getting ish done. Bootstrapping is all about several factors. First of all, if we're gonna go fundamental as a startup, this is the best way for you to earn your stripes by number one, getting your problem solution fit. Right? Are you making the right product that actually solves the problem you're trying to solve? Right? And number two, validation, right? Are you making money? Because at the end of the day, even if it's a golden era of the startup ecosystem right now, if you don't hit your product market fit, all that money that's gonna be thrown at your startup is just gonna go down the drain. And number three, as a founder, is how you become from a founder to an executive. And that's a chasm that not a lot of people get to cross. There's multiple stages of bootstrapping. So the most common one is when you're just trying to start out. Yes, okay, you probably have a 2, 3, 4-man team. It's easy to bootstrap. But the hardest bootstrapping is when you're stuck between rounds. Say, for example, you do the pre-seed, and you promise the world to the investors that, yeah, we'll get it done. But things will hit the fan, and things will not go your way. When you have 1 month of runway and your back's against the wall, what do? That's where the magic happens. And the best startups that pull through are the ones that are here today because they figured that out. And to be honest, that's where the real fun happens. When your back's against the wall, you have a eureka moment, and boom. We've been through that all. But bootstrapping is all about sacrifice, hustling, and most importantly, hitting metrics. Where we're no longer talking about just ideas and whatnot, right? We're now talking about people getting those metrics done, because as the faster and the quicker you get those metrics, money will just come. But until you hit that, you need to figure out how to hit those metrics with very little or no resources at all. And that's all in the founder. Being an old man, 10 years in this game, you really realize that once you decide that you're gonna do this startup game, you have no choice but you have to fundraise. Because it's rare that the Nels of the world pull it off with very minimal resources, and you get it done. And the primary reason why you need funding is not because of survival. It's because you want hypergrowth, right? That's what startups do. We solve problems, and then we grow fast so that we accelerate the solving of that problem for everyone else. And we use technology as the vessel to get there. Now, does fundraising mean that you're raising funds now right away? No. You're building relationships, because as you go through multiple rounds, there are certain types of investors that you need. At the very start, you'll probably need, at the pre-seed or your angel round, you need people that would help you get there. So the type of people that you need to build relationships with are angels. To shout out to the angels here, like Maine, like Buko Ventures, who are coming in very early, high risk, high reward, and the type of people that they're looking for are great teams, right? It's a little risque because you don't see that much product market fit yet, but if you have the semblance of a good team and a good TAM, and you have a little bit of traction, then that's good. But as early as now, you should be talking to your seed and your Series A and your Series B already. And what you want to do, and I've gotten a shout out to Roland and Rexy, you want to be on the radar. You don't want to be talking to your investors when it's too late and you need the fund. You want to be able to do that in a 24 to 48 month runway. And then the narrative is, hey, this is what we're doing now. Here's what we're trying to do. This is our objectives. And you show them that, hey, every quarter you're hitting those metrics as you speak. And then by the time you need them, the story is already told, because you've been hitting these metrics. And again, not every time you're going to hit it. There's going to be walls that you're going to have to run through. But fundraising starts at day one. First off, is have a short-term memory. Why? Because you're gonna eat L's and no's every single day. It's gonna feel like shit every single time, right? It's like, why do they not like me? I was so close and all that, right? But at the end of the day, you still got a team to run, and guess what? You still don't have runway tomorrow, right? So you gotta have a short-term memory and learn from every single no that you get. And if you're fortunate enough, some VCs actually say why. So it's never a never. Most of it is a not yet. And you need to answer, you need to ask them, if I hit this, will you invest? So now there's a different target. Second, from a founder's point of view, because it's easy to talk about all these tips, right? But we all go through immense mental health issues every single time. And you know what? We can't say, I need a mental health break. I'll take a leave today, right? We can't do that. We have a team to run. So you want to do two things. First off is you want to be even keeled. Don't get high when it's too high because tomorrow there's something that's going to go wrong again. And don't get low when you're too low. But one thing that I've also learned specifically because of the podcast is that having friends, just having that talk, because all you need to do sometimes is get that monkey off your back. And you won't realize how much founders are going to be willing to help other founders out. Lastly, it's easy to say to keep going and keep iterating, right? But more than anything is understand your metrics. Not just in the metrics of unit economics, not just talking about, their product market fit. One thing that I've learned through this process is that VCs also understand and look at it on a per vertical basis. So if you're in a vertical like fintech, the iron triangle, shout out to GoBeCore, the iron triangle of e-commerce, logistics, and fintech, that's high time. You're probably gonna get a check, but the competition is gonna be intense around the region. But there are other industries there, right? Around. So like for us, we're in media, but we're not yet Kumu, right? And we're doing podcasting. You have to look at it where, are there comparables in your vertical? Because sometimes that's how your startup is going to be valued. And if you happen to be a first mover or you're in a blue ocean, it's going to be doubly hard because you have to prove that there's traction in that market. The same way Airbnb did it when people never thought that people would share their home. The same way Uber did it when nobody thought that anyone would share their car. But again, if you understand those metrics and you know how to do it, then you can do the next steps. Building the right team, building the right product, iterating fast, and hustling.